Afternoon, everyone. Just run through the normal housekeeping.
Afternoon.
Broadcast first. Jamie's going to get us started. We'll move on to the dailies embargo till 10:30 tonight. Social media posting, we asked none during the broadcast part. Jamie, do you want to get us started? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Simon. Good afternoon.
Hello. Afternoon.
Ultimately, of course, a defeat against Liverpool, but there are enough positives that Spurs fans are feeling quite optimistic now going forward. Do you share that optimism?
Of course I share. I have to be the first one to be optimistic. So we spoke about it after the game. The only negative thing was the result, 0 points. But in the end, is the most important thing in football. And we took nothing out of the game. But if you want to look at it with a different perspective, which we have also too, lots of positives, yeah.
What are, for you, those positives?
The positives were a team in a very difficult situation playing as a team playing against the best team by far in the country, and for long periods of the game we were not inferior, and for some periods we were the strongest team. A debut of a young kid from the academy, English, against people like Salah and Mane, which are obviously in the group of the top players in the world. Good empathy from players and supporters, which is not easy when the season is not a good season and the result is even a defeat. Better levels of concentration, which makes me feel that what I'm crying for, which is time to work, that time to work can improve the team and the players at every level. That week was a week of a good work, and I saw the best Davinson Sanchez, I saw the best Alderweireld, I saw the best level of focus and concentration from the players. And of course we have some limitations, but we know that. But in very difficult circumstances, the game was a good game.
Do you think top four is still achievable this season?
Mathematically, yes. Of course, the distance is important. We don't need just to win matches. We need also opponents to lose matches. We know that we are not in this moment powerful enough to believe that we are going to win every match. We are not powerful enough to be competing in 3 different competitions where we still are. Really difficult situation for us. But I prefer not to think about it's possible or it's not possible. The only way that I can answer to you is to say that mathematically it's possible. And I prefer to look match after match, even looking to an FA Cup match tomorrow, and the only thing I can tell you, and this I'm maybe anticipating some question that comes later, is that while, for example, Liverpool could change 10 players for a FA Cup match, I can tell you that the only player that is not selected is Alderweireld. He's the only one that I can give a rest, because I have options behind. I can play with Vertonghen, I can play with Tanganga, I can play with Foyt, I can play with Sanchez. So he's the only player that I could say goodbye, take 2 days off. Apart of that, we are in our limits and everybody has to go.
Well, speaking of options, can I ask about Gedson Fernandes? Is he at the training ground today? Are you expecting that deal to be completed soon?
I'm waiting for news, but when I say I'm waiting, news can come or no. And again, I'm more worried about Middlesbrough than with the market. Of course, with the rules, even if you get a player, you cannot play him in a replay. The players that can play are the players that were legally ready for the first game, not for the replay. So I'm in this moment, I'm not interested in Jetson or in any other possible player that can come.
For those that don't follow the Portuguese league closely, then what can you tell us about him? What sort of player are Spurs getting?
I cannot answer because I don't know if you are getting. He's a Benfica player. I don't think my friend Benfica coach and Benfica president, both my friends, I don't think they would be very happy if I speak about one of their players.
Do you think the priority this month is still to bring in a striker? Because that was clearly lacking against Liverpool.
The priority this month is to win tomorrow. Difficult match. Championship teams, we know what they can do. We know what Fulham did to Villa. We know that Leeds almost did to Arsenal. We know what Middlesbrough did to us. Difficult match, and in our situation, we are in our limits. And incredible effort against Liverpool 2 days ago, and players brought to a level of intensity in that game that they are not used to, because Liverpool is really strong at that level, and the players, they gave absolutely everything. And to imagine that people has to play tomorrow and then Saturday again, really hard.
It was noticeable on Saturday after the game that Christian Eriksen took a little bit longer to applaud the fans after the match. Has he played his last game for Spurs? It seemed like a farewell on Saturday.
He plays tomorrow.
He plays tomorrow.
Yeah.
After that, are you expecting to leave after that?
After that, I have a match on Saturday and maybe plays Saturday again. I cannot tell you much more than that. Again, we are in our limits. We have very, very important injuries, and every player that we have is a player that has to be ready to help the team. We are not in conditions to think anything different than that.
You've got no concerns over his commitment, the effort he's putting in for Tottenham at the moment?
Why?
A lot of people after the game were saying it was noticeable that Christian Eriksen didn't put in his best performance against Liverpool, that it seems as if he's almost...
Yeah, one thing is not to put his best performance, and that is Christian Eriksen and so many players around the world that you have, for different reasons, better seasons than others, better matches than others. If you ask me if I think this is the best Christian Eriksen, I have to be honest and say no. If you ask me the reasons, if I know the reasons, I'm not an idiot. I'm in football for many years, and I know clearly that a player in this situation is not a player that is, even if he wants, I'm not blaming the player, I'm not criticizing the player, I'm just saying that it's normal that a player in this situation doesn't perform at the highest level. But I can also say that he's helping us in matches that he's playing with us. He had positive performances, he had positive contributions. If I remember, for example, the game against Olympiacos, which was a fundamental match for us to qualify, we were losing 2-0, and he came to the game and he gave us things. Same against Norwich, he had very good performance against Norwich. I also think the same as you probably think. I also think probably what our fans thought in the game. He didn't have a very good performance against Liverpool. I have to agree with that.
Okay, we move on to George.
Hello, Josie. Has Christian made his mind up? Do you know what he's going to do?
Yes, I know.
Is that affecting his performances? Do you think he'll be here past January?
I'm not going to say anything about that. I don't know. But I know his future. I think I know. But it's not for me to speak about it. I think it's just for him. In this moment, he's my player, and again, I repeat, we are not in conditions to think that any one of the players that we have available, we don't count on them. We are not many. We need every player, and that's it.
Will Tanganga start again tomorrow?
Probably yes. Yeah.
And can I just ask one about the FA Cup? Were you surprised Tottenham last time they won this trophy was 1991? And is it one of your priorities this season to win?
No. My priority is to win tomorrow. Difficult match. For some reason, it was so difficult for us the first game, and that's the priority. After the game tomorrow, if we don't qualify, we forget FA Cup. If we qualify, the priority is the Premier League against Watford. So for me, there is no priority. If I am surprised, yeah, I am a little bit. It's so many years ago, so many good teams that Tottenham had over the years. But I also know that is a very difficult competition to win because everybody wants to win it. It's beautiful competition to play, beautiful final to play and to win. And I think every top team tries to do it.
Can I just ask, you've won 4 League Cups and just the one FA Cup. Did you prioritise winning the League Cup because you win a trophy so early in the season? Was there a reason why you're so successful in that competition, maybe compared to the FA Cup?
No. I don't know. I played 2 FA Cup finals, I won only once. I played 4 League Cup finals, I won 4. I don't know.
Okay, go to James down here.
Sure, so how did Jan respond to not being involved in such a big game on Saturday?
Like a top professional he is. Jan Vertonghen is untouchable. Professional person, absolutely untouchable. So my decision was to play with 2 very fast players on the side of Toby Alderweireld. Davison is really fast, and Jaffet is the same. And the decision was with people like Salah and Mane. The most difficult thing for a defender is to cope with their speed and the way they attack from the outside to the inside. The movements that Firmino makes to create these spaces for them. And I think my decision was correct. Sometimes we have the feeling that we should do a different way. In that game, I had a feeling that decision was correct. Of course, Jan wanted to play. That's obvious. But since I arrived, professional from day one, and tomorrow is back to the team.
Just finally from me, in terms of players potentially coming in and strikers, is that the most difficult position to get right in terms of bringing a player coming in, especially when you consider the extra costs that are involved in that as well?
I think this market in January is a strange market. Sometimes the opportunities are there and sometimes opportunities are not there. And sometimes clubs are ready to sell, to loan, other times clubs are not, and it's not an easy one. I think it's just the window of opportunity, and sometimes the opportunity is there, and sometimes it's not there.
Okay, go to Kerry.
Jose, you talked about the players that had really improved with a little bit more time to practice your tactics. You are a huge admirer of the Premier League, of the FA Cup and the history of the FA Cup, but is this fixture schedule really affecting what coaches really can do with a team and the quality of the games that we're seeing?
I think we all wanted more time to work, but competition is competition. I would even think that in a normal situation, which is not my case, because I don't think it's normal when a coach comes in the middle of the season. The normal is when you start the season. What at least we would like, I think I can speak in behalf of every coach in the world, we would like a good preseason. And when you have a good preseason, when you have a preseason of 1 month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, to work with your players, to try things, to develop things, to play friendly matches, don't care with the results. When you have this, it's fantastic because you build something solid for the rest of the season. We don't have that anymore. I'm just imagining my next preseason, and again, will happen to all of us. Next preseason will start without the players that are in the Euros. So, and I think if a player reach the semi-finals of the Euros, if a club gives the player the minimum that is acceptable, which is 3 weeks, that means that the player is back in the same week the Premier League starts. So that's football today. It is what it is.
Do you worry about the welfare of your players, the longevity of their careers?
I am, but I have to be a little bit selfish, and instead of look to the longevity of their career, I look to their availability now, and you see how many injuries you find in this moment. But at the same time, medicine is evolving, and they can be back early.
You say that. Can you give us an update on Harry Kane? And also, do you believe if you don't have get a replacement in for him in this window, that you can still get to top four with the players that you have rotating in that forward role?
We try the best we can. News on Harry we don't have, and if you ask me every time I come here, the answer will be always the same. We expect him to be out until, I don't know, mid-April or end of April, or who knows, May or next season, I don't know. I have no updates to give on Harry.
Okay, one question each from Ali and then Charlie, and we finish. Ali first.
Jose, obviously Jeff Tenganga's performance got the fans very excited, obviously a homegrown player, but there's a fear that among them that the club might still lose him in the summer because of his contract situation. Has there been any update on that?
The contract situation of?
Jeff Tenganga.
What is the contract situation?
Currently it ends at the end of the season.
Wrong. Yeah, wrong. Don't worry, because it's wrong.
Finish with Charlie.
You mentioned you've got quite a few options.
Do you think I was going to play him if he finished his contract in the end of the season?
Charlie, last one in newspapers. Charlie.
Jose, you talked about having different options at centre-back, and we've seen back three and a back four various sides. Is that something that will continue, do you think, sort of switching between those different?
Look, if you want to know what I wanted to do here, you look to my first game against West Ham. That's the way I thought I was going to develop the team. Defend with the back four, attack with the back three. That means that my left back defends as a left back, and then when we go in attacking organization, my left back becomes one of the three in the back, build with three, project the right back, and do overloads on the other side. That was the way I wanted to develop the team. That was the first day of unlucky. Goodbye Ben Davies, and then I think everything started with, even with Hugo, you lose your captain for so long, and then, in my case, I lose Ben when I had something in here, something that I felt. Then we tried, but then the players are different players, and then you lose one more, and then you lose another one, and then you lose Kane, and then you don't have a striker, and then you go to Middlesbrough and you play with Lucas and Sonny both up, but then you realize that the team is more comfortable with width, and then you have to bring one to the side, and then you don't have, it's instead of building something that you see, the puzzle is coming and we are developing, we are more on a situation now of try to make a team that can play tomorrow and can give us some guarantees of success. And then after tomorrow we will see what we have for Saturday, and Saturday let's see what we can do. It's a difficult situation, but it's a situation that helps me to understand better and better lots of the players and the options and what they have to give and what they don't have to give.
Okay, guys, can we have the cameras off now, please? Thank you.
Finish, no? Oh, what?
Here he is.
It's a midweek game.